Today on Action News Now at 6, we're getting a clear picture from police this morning about moments leading up to the murder of a Reading teenager.
And newly released dash cam footage shows the moments right before an officer opens fire, killing a Sac State student in Siskiyou County.
This morning, we're learning more about two shootings that happened just in 1 week in Chico. I'm Sarah Stinson. Coming up, I'll have the latest details in a live report. You're watching Action News Now at 6.
Covering Northern California, you're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
Good morning. You're watching Action News Now at 6. I'm Megan Wallace.
And I'm Mark Blaine. We'll have your latest local and world news in just a moment. But first, here's Court Klopping with a quick look at today's forecast. Good morning, Court.
Megan and Mark, good morning. It looks like we're going to be dealing with one more very warm day ahead for Northern California before some welcome changes arrive across the region, and even a chance for showers returns in your extended forecast. Now, taking a look at the satellite and radar early on this morning, not much going on overhead for Northern California. High pressure is still dominating the southwest. High means dry. That's what we're seeing today. We're also seeing plenty of sunshine, and again, temperatures on the same range as we were looking at yesterday. Starting off your Thursday morning, right now, clear skies, 59 degrees with light winds in Chico. Humidity right now just under 45%. Reading, meanwhile, 58 degrees at the moment. Clear skies, winds actually out of the northwest of 5 miles an hour now, but shifting throughout the day, and humidity over 50% for the start of your Thursday morning. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll check back in, take a look at what you could expect to head through your upcoming weekend. Conditions are getting much better across Northern California. Then the chance for wet weather also returns in your extended forecast. Find out when in just a couple of minutes. Megan and Mark.
This morning, we continue to learn more about two separate shootings that happened in Chico within 4 days of each other.
And right now, Chico police are still searching for the suspects in each case. Action News Now reporter Sarah Stinson joins us live in Chico with the details on the most recent shooting. Sarah.
Mark, Megan, I'm live on Garden Park Drive and Ceres Avenue, where police officers responded and they found a man shot in the leg as well as shell casings, but they found no suspects. Now, this shooting happened yesterday afternoon right here in front of the victim's home in North Chico. Police responded to the call just before 1 o'clock and blocked off this entire area. Now, the man who was shot was brought to the hospital. He is expected to be okay. He was conscious and even speaking to police. Investigators say there were several people in the neighborhood who witnessed the shooting, and officers spoke to each and every one of them, trying to nail down any information they could about the suspects who are involved. And so far, we have no information on those suspects, but we have learned this shooting was intentional, but a motive is still unclear. Now, we're speaking to Chico PD to learn more about if there's one suspect, multiple suspects. Obviously, that's our #1 priority, finding out if we can get that information out to the public. We'll keep you updated with when we get more, but coming up in 30 minutes, we'll have more details on this shooting, as well as we'll hear from Chico PD about what they saw when they arrived. I'm live in Chico. Sarah Stinson, Action News Now.
Thank you, Sarah. And police say a Chico State student was shot at a house party at around 1 o'clock Saturday morning. The injuries the student suffered are not life-threatening. Chico police officers responded to the 600 block of West 7th Street, where they found the victim conscious. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. Witnesses described the shooter as a male subject wearing dark clothing and driving a dark-colored SUV. We spoke with neighbors who said the shooting happened after the suspect was not allowed into the party. Anyone with information about either shooting is asked to contact the Chico Police Department. And we're learning new and disturbing details about the murder of a Reading teenager.
That's right. A police report and court records show that they're painting a much clearer picture of what happened the night 19-year-old Joshua Alberg was killed. Action News Now reporter Mario Montalvo takes a closer look.
According to the police report, 19-year-old Joshua Alberg and his roommate Coleman Yount were first approached by 19-year-old Isaiah Williams, 21-year-old Devin Sutton Wilson, and 20-year-old Brooklyn Aubrey Hill at the Valero gas station on Churn Creek Road Wednesday night. Yount told police he and Williams knew each other from high school, and he and Alberg invited the trio back to their home on Heavenly Oak Drive to smoke marijuana. The three left the gas station in Hill's red Kia Optima. Yount told investigators when they arrived at the residence, Williams began flipping over couches and furniture. He then pulled out a small black semi-automatic handgun, which police later found and identified as a Hi-Point 9mm. Sutton Wilson then reportedly tied up Yount's hands and feet with a belt and an electrical cord. Yount told investigators he was told to join Alberg in his bedroom, where he saw Alberg sitting in a chair with a laceration above one of his eyes. Williams reportedly told Sutton Wilson to get a pillow, which Yount said he believed Williams was going to use to shoot him in the head. At that point, Yount was able to free his hands and tried to wrestle the gun away from Williams, at which point one shot was fired. Yount was able to escape and was able to run to safety at a neighbor's house. He said he did not see what happened to Alberg, but that he was fighting with Sutton Wilson when he fled the home. Alberg was found laying face down on a box spring with a large wound to his neck when police arrived. Police were able to identify Hill's car from surveillance video from the Valero gas station and tracked her down to her address on Wilson Street in Reading, where they found the handgun, jewelry, as well as an Xbox One console and video games taken from Yount and Alberg's residence. The three were taken into custody and booked in Shasta County Jail. They're due in court for a preliminary hearing October 10th. Mario Montalvo, Action News Now.
Funeral services for Alberg will be held at the Church of Latter-day Saints in Anderson on October 14th at 10 a.m. Meanwhile, the suspects are painting a different picture of the night in their defense. Police say Brooklyn Hill initially said she was at home asleep with boyfriend Devin Sutton Wilson at the time and then admitted to being at Alberg's home. She said she and Sutton Wilson both waited outside in her car while 19-year-old Isaiah Williams carried out the crime on his own. Sutton Wilson told investigators William pulled out a gun and tied up Alberg and his roommate. They say Hill left before anything happened, but Williams told investigators he was attacked by Alberg and his roommate, and he didn't mean for things to happen the way they did.
A Reading man who killed his baby daughter while high on methamphetamine and marijuana has been sentenced to 13 years in prison. 31-year-old Carl Stuyvesant pleaded no contest to felony child abuse earlier this month. His 4-month-old daughter was in his care when he passed out in a recliner while holding her, and she suffocated. Stuyvesant must serve 85% of his sentence before he's eligible for parole.
Newly released dash cam footage shows the final moments leading up to a deadly officer-involved shooting in Siskiyou County. The CHP-involved shooting left a former Sacramento State student dead in Wairika back in June of 2016. And a warning, this video is found to be disturbing. Steve Large reports.
Police dashcam video shows the final 24 seconds of former Sacramento State student Daniel Shahome's life. As Shahome slowly gets out of his car, CHP officer Paul Shadwell draws his gun. Shahome, facing the officer, closes his door and shuffles towards the back end of the vehicle. His right hand appears to be grasping something. Then the deadly shots. Shahome falls to the ground, his body laying by the car, blurred in this video. 20 minutes into the dashcam video clip, CPR is performed on Shahome. 35 minutes after the shooting, Shahome's body is covered up. His family's attorney.
I think it's a really shocking and sickening exhibit of unjustified deadly force.
The Siskiyou County DA investigating said Shahome was holding a knife when the officer shot him. The former Sacramento State student was diagnosed with a mental illness called schizoaffective disorder. The CHP was initially called to Shahome's vehicle by motorists concerned he was possibly attempting to jump off an overpass on I-5 near Wairika. The Siskiyou County DA determined the shooting was justified in a report reading in part, regardless of his intention, Shahome advanced on Officer Shadwell with a deadly weapon, leaving his own vehicle to do so and achieving a position from which he could launch an imminent deadly attack. Now, the video showing the confrontation, leaving a mentally ill Sacramento man dead.
That was Steve Large reporting.
And now, Action News Now Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
Well, some good news ahead in your extended forecast, but for today, it's more of the same across Northern California with one small change, and that's a shift in the winds. Other than that, almost identical conditions ahead for your Thursday as temperatures are within 2 to 3 degrees of what we saw yesterday afternoon. And we're also starting out within 2 to 3 degrees of where we were yesterday morning at this time. Now, we do have a cool down on the way. That arrives tomorrow and lasts through the weekend, and even cooler weather is on the way for next week. And by next week, we also have the chance for showers returning. So a big change of pace compared to what we're seeing outside today. By tomorrow, it's cooler. By next week, it's much cooler, and it might be wet out there. We're seeing a chance for showers arriving on Monday in mountain areas, by Tuesday in portions of the valley. Now, it's a little bit more likely for the mountains, especially as far south as Shasta County. It becomes a little less likely as we make our way into the valley areas. For today, here's what we are seeing right now. Clear skies across northern California. We're not going to see many clouds heading through for today, maybe one or two across the Sierra. That's about it. And the reason is we still have this ridge of high pressure dominating the southwest. So as this exits off to the east, what that's going to do later on today is leave us with south winds developing. And then it also, as it moves off to the east, opens up the door for these cooler and wetter systems to move through to our north and funnel in a cooler air mass ahead for northern California. Now, right now, you're also seeing low pressure off the coast of California. This actually looks to make its way up to the north a little bit as it enters the west coast. For today, here's what we are seeing out there. Low 60s at 7 a.m. By 10 a.m., low 70s on the way for Chico, mid-80s by 1 p.m. with low 90s for your afternoon, almost identical for Redding. High 50s starting your morning, mid-70s by 10 a.m., high 80s by 1 p.m. with low 90s for your afternoon. Mountain areas starting out anywhere from the mid-30s to low 50s this morning, ending up in the high 70s to mid-80s later on today with plenty of sunshine for your Thursday. And ahead in your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast where your weekend it's always in view. We're seeing 92 degrees today, mid-80s Friday through Sunday in Redding, low 80s for the start of next week with a chance for showers by Tuesday. Chico, very similar, low 90s today, mid-80s Friday through Sunday, then low 80s starting off next week with a slight chance for showers on Tuesday and high 70s by Wednesday. And guess what? It is the last Thursday night market of the season coming up this evening. So if you want to get outdoors today, this is a great way to do so. 89 degrees by 5 p.m. for parking time, 87 for the start of the market. By 7 p.m., 82 degrees, and by the time things are wrapping up, we're in the high 70s, so it looks like a pretty nice day to get out there. And again, this is your last chance for the Thursday night market in 2017. Megan and Mark.
All right, thanks, Court. Coming up next on Action News Now, an hours-long standoff has come to an end in Southern California.
And GOP leaders say they are promising across-the-board tax cuts as part of their latest push for tax reform. We'll have the latest from Capitol Hill.
Plus, it was a major win for women's rights in a country notorious for not letting women drive. We'll have the worldwide reaction.